recording again. This is JVC tape number 2, but this is the 3rd tape of the interview with M.T. Liggett in Mullinville, Kansas. And we're continuing to talk about Kansas a little bit. Shane?
So we just started talking about, you mentioned that there were a lot of drugs around in that drugs have gotten to be a real problem. Mm-hmm. And that they didn't exist when you were younger around here.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. What kind, when you say there are drugs around, what kind of drugs do you mean?
Anything you want, meth on down. They make meth here. They grow marijuana here. I know that. If you want to grow some pot, that's your business. I'm not going to turn you in. But there's anything here in the fields, and it's all here if you want it.
Now, I expressed surprise that there wasn't marijuana around.
There is marijuana.
And, I mean, when you were young.
No.
And then you said, if you don't mind my saying so, that you had known a peyote in the area.
Not in this area.
Not in this area. Okay.
I used to work on. I was out of the service for a brief period of time, and I worked with the Navajo Indians on a bridge gang in northern Arizona. Okay. And those Indians would hit that stuff, peyote, because it's some, I don't know why. So, you ever see peyote? Mm-hmm. It's that little old thing, I never did hit it, and my experience with drugs was, hell, in Hong Kong you can get drugs, opium easier than you can cornflakes. And, I left that stuff alone. We called it kicking the gong in the Navy. The guys would go downtown and kick the gong, take a couple of whiffs of opium. But I always left it alone, And I left the pot alone, I left the benzodrine alone, and all that stuff. And my only experience was with any drugs, of consequence. As I was going across northern Arizona one time. Picked up these 2 guys in Gallup, New Mexico, and they were going west. And I was pulling, I had an old truck and a camper pickup. It's probably 30 years and 25 years ago. And these old kids said, they got in the truck and they said, "You care if we smoke?" And I said, "Well, hell no, I don't care." Till out come this pipe. About that long, and the rabbit tobacco. I said, "No, we ain't gonna do none of that shit." The guy said, "We got some peyote." Boy, my mind went back to 25 years ago when those guys smoked peyote. So I said, "I'll hit it." And I hit peyote. And since it is a religion among the Navajo tribes, the Arizona tribes, the Hopis and people like this, they use it as a hallucinogen. And you don't sit there and smoke it like you do tobacco, that. 2 hits, and I mean, this guy turned purple. Oh God, he's beautiful. I don't care. You want to, so I tried peyote. And I don't care. Is it against the law for me to say I hit peyote? I did hit peyote.
It may not have been illegal at that time.
It probably wasn't.
Because it didn't become illegal until...
But the drugs nowadays is just hard stuff, and they're doing it for money. If you've ever seen what drugs do, you're in college, it absolutely destroys people, just like alcohol. We can, they spend billions of dollars fighting drugs. Billions. You stop drugs in 3 weeks, all of it.
How?
Do like you do in Saudi Arabia. You sell drugs, you're dead. See, if they said there'd be no more drugs in the United States and they'd really try to stamp it out, the first thing that people would be against is the law enforcement, because they'd lose their jobs. See what I mean? But you can stop drugs. You want to stop drugs? You can stop drugs. Now, I've seen people totally destroyed by drugs. Don't forget, I was in the service and traveled all over the goddamn world and have seen it all.
Does any of your art deal with this at all?
Don't think so.
Hold a shot for a second.
And,
We're rolling?
do you feel like that experience affected your art in any way? Or
What?
your vision, the smoking peyote?
Only done it one
Okay, so it didn't have any kind of deep, profound impact, except that you had.
If you want to know the truth, what does a peyote experience last? 25 minutes? 30 at the most. And if somebody walked in here and you said, I got some peyote, Liggett, I said, let's strike her up, let's go. I would, you know, because it does something to you mentally, not this good thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It doesn't make, well, I don't, the whole world, you know, it's the only time.
Well, let me shift to a much more mundane thing. When did you first sell your first piece of art?
I have no idea. I used to give most of it away. All this around Monville I gave to people.
Uh-huh.
And then I'd sell a little bit. I don't get, you know, I didn't get much for it.
And what was in a technical sense, what was your history that allowed you to be able to build these and to have a shop that built it, these pieces?
Well, the shop was there, you know, I bought the place, the shop was there. It has to be art has, anybody can paint a picture. I could sit down here and take a pad and a pencil, I can draw a picture of you. But see, that's limited to that picture, right there. The only people that ever's gonna see that picture is if you show it to them. But I can do you in the abstract and stick you up down there and the whole world will see it. You do art because it's there to do. I have this reason to be creative. I could make you in a piece of art just because of this short relationship, going back to panentheism, the short relation that we've had between each other, then I feel that there's something, I know you well enough that I could put you in the abstract and make it. And you have that need to create. And so when you do it in the abstract, you know, that's mine. That's my spirit in that piece of art. If I make one of him or you, either one, because it's the relationship that existed between the two of us that I've gotten to know you well enough to make it. I've had people come up to me and say, make a totem pole of me. Hell, I can't make a totem pole of you. I don't know you. And then the some that are down there, my best pieces of art are definitely lovers. Because I knew her. And the only way to ever know a woman is to be her lover. So that's true. So you share those intimate things, you know. So crazy things that build up to it and the after and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And did you do welding and metal work before you started doing this?
Oh yeah. I've been You see, if you got a piece of wood and you saw her off too short, you got a short piece of wood. Lay her down and get you another piece of metal. Hell, don't make any difference. Well, it'll be, if you mess up, it's easy. Plus, these signs, if you keep iron drained, like this is drained, there's no pockets out there. That art will probably stand there 100 years, never be touched. And stay like it, get prettier as time goes.
The posts that it's on?
Setting in cement.
Yeah, and where do all the posts come from?
Junkyard.
Huh. I saw a whole series out there that had little V's and then you hung bird feeders on them.
Oh, yeah.
Did they come like that or did
No,
you build
I
those?
weld all that stuff and make it on.
Okay. So all the pieces that jut out, those aren't found objects?
No,
you
there's
put them
nothing down
together.
there found object.
Okay.
You see, I believe, well, you've seen examples of it. I believe I should share. And a good way to share is with food. So I share my food with people, and also I share my money to buy food for the birds and things in this one.
No, I just wondered if you'd come across a whole series of these posts that would happen to have those things jutting out.
No, I make all this stuff.
Okay. And so the shape of the metal itself
I make
doesn't necessarily suggest a usage to you, or does it?
Oh, yeah, I look at a piece of iron and junk iron, you know, it's gotta be junk. You can't make anything out of new iron, by the way. So you take, the junkier it is, the better. And I've got these people, and of course, I will not mention my suppliers. Will not, period. I never told anyone. So I go to a person's junk pile and I look through it, and I'll see something.
So the iron, the piece itself, if it's an old gear or an old saw blade or whatever it is, will suggest an idea to you.
They're Lyle, just like that light up there. And I'll picture something. Then I'll pick it up, generally take it in the shed and add enough to it so I won't forget it and then throw it down. And then someday I'll pick it up and start over because the idea's still there.
And you don't lose that idea once you have it.
Once I make, in other words, if I want to make a picture of a dancing girl and I saw a winged foot, or I made, I want to preserve something about this dancing girl, and I make that part and then I throw it down, I can go back to it. I've had pieces I picked up after 5 years and go ahead and finish them.
Those are almost like sketches. That's the way you sketch then.
I don't
To
sketch
think
it,
of that.
I sketch it here.
That's what I'm, yeah, okay. That's important, that's good, yeah. And then, in terms of the tools that you use, can you tell me more about the actual tools that you use and why you've changed over time?
Well, I used to use acetylene gas torches to cut a cutting torch. That's too expensive. Plus you can't do a good job. And because anytime you have heat to metal, add heat to metal, it's gonna warp. Well, then I bought a plasma torch, which uses electricity. You got oodles and oodles of pictures of me using a plasma torch. And so it uses electricity there and cuts it out. And then I weld it together with a MIG welder, wire welder, not an arc welder. The reason I use a wire welder is I don't have to use a helmet. I can stand behind it.
So you don't damage your eyes?
No.
With the...
Hasn't yet.
Yeah. Then a lot of those pieces are big and heavy, and they look like more than what one human being can manage. So how do you manipulate them in your shop, and then how do you get them out?
A chain fall. I
With
got
what?
a chain fall, lift them up and turn them over if they're that heavy. Or I get somebody, say I'll weld one side and finish the one side. Then I turn it over and I finish that side. I do, then the first, I turn it, I make the back side. And then I turn it over and I make the front side. I put everything in it that I could possibly want. Keep having to flip it back and forth. Then I turn it over and I make the back side and I sign it. And when I sign it, I put the date and initials. And see, you gotta sign your art. And see, this art will be most people live their lives and they go from the earth, take them out here to the cemetery, boom, it's over. They have left nothing behind, which causes me sometimes to question about some of these famous people in religion. Nobody's got anything left to prove they were ever here. Look at what old M.T. Liggett is going to leave behind when I go. I mean, and some of that stuff will, as long as you stand her up and keep her up out of the dirt, it'll stand there for hundreds of years. And will it become famous? You're here. You're not here because that art attracted you here. So you must think I'm into something. A lot of people think I'm into something. And so therefore they collect my work. I never have a sales pitch. When somebody walks up and wants a piece of art, I say, there it is. You figure it out. And they most generally do.
How do people carry it away? I mean, some of those pieces, I mean, I see them, and it looks like there was, you know, things that weigh quite a bit.
Trucks.
Uh-huh.
I haul it to them, but the better customers, I haul it to them.
And how do you get it out to the fence or wherever you're gonna put it up?
Well, I got trailers I haul it on, or I'll put it on the back of an old pickup. Then if it's too heavy, and I'll make a whole bunch of it. You see, there's something about art that people do not understand. When the idea strikes you and it hits you hard enough, it's like a bolt of lightning. It's right here. I know exactly what that thing's going to look like. And lots of times I'll go over there. I've been known to work 24 hours to finish the piece. Because it's that when it gets to going. And that's what's wrong with me right now. My heart's flopping around. I'm gotten heavy. I'm not thinking good. And I know it. It's because I've been laying around my ass and not doing anything. I need to get over in that shed and get to work. And I will when the weather warms. And I should get over and build that stove and start it. And, you know, you see, and then when you do an art, it's not work. And you get so filthy dirty. You can't believe how dirty I get. I mean, a solid mass of just old black dust and stuff like that. Dirty clothes, burnt up clothes, paint all over me. And I come home and I walk in the house and I go right out that. I'm gonna take my shoes off at the front door and walk and put my billfold in a certain place. If I do that, so I'm getting Alzheimer's and I won't forget it. Then I clean out my pockets of that big bowl out there. Then I step up to the washing machine and I throw everything in the washing machine. And I go in and take a bath, and then I put on something clean, go eat, or sometimes I just wait till they dry and then I go back and put those same ones on again. And I'm really choking.
How much will one of those pieces weigh, the bigger ones?
Well, that elephant over there, I got a big elephant, he probably weighs 1,500 pounds.
And what about the totems along?
A lot of those weigh 500 or 600 pounds, and most of them, you know, it depends.
And you can pretty much manage those by yourself, except for the final putting
Stand
them
them
up.
up, yeah.
But the rest of it, you're able to winch it around and
Oh, yeah.
by yourself.
You see, the only beat that, you know, see, the problem, most people can't understand an artist. When you're working, you don't want nobody else around. Nobody. I mean, nobody. When I'm working and somebody comes in there, I'll just quit. I don't want anybody around. And almost all artists are the same thing. Almost all artists are junkie. They work in a junk pile. I'll clean that son of a bitch up over there and I swear up and down by God. Well, I got her clean now, I'm gonna keep it that way. Shit, 2 weeks you're back to the same crap. There's some artists who wouldn't even let people in their studio. In fact, most of them don't. You see, that's something that's mine. It's private. It's me. It's my myth that's in there. It's my spirit that's in that shop. Not yours or his or somebody else's. It's me. In the same way in writing. You've written books. Hell, when you get ready to write a book, you can't have anybody sitting around jawing or watching the damn television. You know what my idea of television is? Probably done more to destroy this culture than anything that's ever invented.
Do you watch it at all?
I watch those movies when I want to escape.
But you don't watch the TV, do you watch the TV like news or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, I watch sometimes.
Yeah.
And I read. I'd rather read it. I'd rather read it out of the newspaper. I like to listen to music. Because I can listen to that music and imagine any damn thing I want to. You watch it on television, you can't imagine a damn thing.
What kind of music do you listen to?
All
Most of it.
classical.
Give me some of the things you listen to.
Vivaldi's is great. I'm a great anti. Bizet and Carmen. Most people, you know that song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star?
Haydn's Surprise Symphony?
Huh?
Haydn's Surprise Symphony?
Well, then Mozart did it also.
Was it Mozart?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that until one of the greatest love affairs I ever in my life was in Madrid. And I was going with this, I met this lady who was a concert pianist and violinist. And she played it for me. That's where I made the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. When I let that woman get out of there. And I thought we were going to see each other again. And we would have, but old Franco threw me out of Spain.
So there you were. What other kind of music? Do you listen to Rush Limbaugh when he was, do you listen to him?
Oh, Rush Limbaugh, I mean, I speak in the vernacular. Rush Limbaugh's like scooping shit against the tide. I'm not gonna listen to him.
Do you listen to him?
No.
Did,
Once in a while I'll listen to him.
did you
As an
just,
entertainment source.
did you listen to him back in the early mid-90s?
Not too much.
Not
Oh, you know, if he's on the radio and I'm going down the road, I'll listen to him. But I won't. If you want to know, if I'm going down the road in my vehicle, I'm either listening to tapes or classical music, like I go down to Arizona a lot, you know, where I pick up Tucson, Yuma, Phoenix, Albuquerque, and, you know, I know where to go. I've been out there enough, I know where to find them on the radio. But see, on classical music, you can imagine anything. And
What radio stations do you listen to?
most of PBS. I mean, they're the ones that got the classical music.
Let me see some other question. What other we had? Can you think of more things that? This is good. I mean, we're covering everything, so this is really good.
I like.
I want to make sure that you have all family relationships covered, as brothers,
By the way,
sisters.
I have all.
When I'm over there making that art, I'm listening to classical music. I've got one of those over there.
I'm going to stand up for a second and reach over at your tapes, and I'm going to pick them up without changing the camera. I'm going to hand them to you.
The tapes or the
Tapes, or the CDs,
CDs?
the things that are sitting there.
Here you go. Just give Jane an idea of maybe some of the things you were playing when we walked in here.
There's a Bach over here too.
Like these, you know, the Italians. Italians are happy people. They're a noisy Italian. And so I like Italian music. And especially, you know, like here's one on Italy. And here's one from southern France, all the organ people. Listen to that. And, Wagner. Rondo. Armonico Tributo. That's the Italian. Then there's the German throws in that. Then here's old tapes. Emmylou Harris, Stanley Brother, that's Hillbilly. Here's some Hillbilly. Here's Kendall. And this is, can't read it. Some kind of symphony. I like Handel. I like the water music, especially when they're rowing the old king up the river. Handel was good. He wasted his life for the damn English monarchy, which anybody who works for a monarchy is wasting their life.
Do you like you listen to Emmylou Harris and
It depends
Stanley
on my
Brothers?
mood.
Okay, so, but you do listen to the country and western?
Yeah,
or-
you know, anything that hits you.
Yep.
But
You
I
listen,
don't like these damn love ballads and stuff, you know, I can't live without you and all this kind of crap. That's a bunch of baloney.
Last night we went to a country and western dance hall together. Do you remember the name of the place by any chance that we went last night?
Longhorn Saloon, Dodge City, Kansas,
And
2nd Street.
they all knew you there,
So
and you've been going there and dancing for many years.
I would say due to my art and the way I dance. The way I look today is nothing like I was 2 years ago. Nothing. Or Mary, the woman I go with. We used to be real skinny, and we dressed real well. And now we're heavy, and you know, when you're heavy, you don't feel good about yourself. I mean, this stuff about the jolly fat person, what a bunch of shit. And anyway, to get back to you. Everybody in Dodge City knows us. Everybody.
And the music they were playing there was a whole range of music, but I remember that that you liked particularly rose-colored glasses.
That's waltz.
It's a waltz.
John Conway. Well, because it's particularly good waltz. You see, a waltz is you can express yourself in a waltz. You can make a thing of art out of it. You ought to see us when we were both skinny and a lot younger. I mean, Jesus, all we had to do was show up to win an art contest. I mean, a waltz contest. We were good. But see, a waltz, there's one thing about a waltz. There's only one thing you can do to a waltz, that's waltz. You can't do anything else to a waltz. And we like waltzes, and then we used to jitterbug and rock and roll. Yeah, we don't care. But things have changed. You saw last night these gals down their back a hunching and all that stuff. I mean, God almighty. And then they didn't play Moni Moni last night, but they always play Moni Moni. You know, where they have the break in the song Moni Moni, and then when they say get laid, get fucked. And you know, everybody, girls and all, you know. Things have changed.
that one I don't know. I know bullshit, but I don't know Moni.
So they, I don't know. I don't think those kids are like in these dance halls. What the hell else you gonna do?
Well, it looks to me like that was real Fort Dodge, according to what you were saying before about what Dodge City used to be 80 years ago. Looks like it's surviving.
That independent, you do what you want to in a dance hall. People up there don't give a shit. Everybody knows MT. You heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they know what I am, because I say what I get to say, I yell and do all this kind of stuff. Well, those kids do the same thing. Gals get down there and get laying on her back, and you saw it, one guy throw his girl up over her head, and she come down, did you see that? And she wound up with her crotch right in his face, you know. I mean, God almighty, what, Mama, be proud of me.
Well, the thing was, you know, we saw all that together, but I don't think anybody was smiling quite as big as you were. You were smiling big time.
Sure.
You enjoyed it.
Sure, but you know, I do it. I don't, Meredith sometimes accuses me of oogling at the girls. That's not necessarily so. I like to see those gals out there doing it. They're free spirit. That don't mean they want to take you to bed. That don't mean that at all. They're being a free spirit. If they want to get down and hunch on the floor, hell, who cares? And the girls nowadays look better, friend, than they did 50 years ago. I don't give a shit, you know. When I was going to high school, looks like a girl's been drugged through a piece of irrigation pipe. But anyway, they now, you know, they look better. You know, if you got big hooters, show them. You got a pretty ass, show it, you know. You saw the old gal last night in those shiny black breeches. God almighty. Everybody in there saw that too. She knew she had it. And all them old boys sniffing around on her ain't no different than it was years ago. They still sniff. The reason I use sniff, it's, you know, that's the way a stud horse does, you know.
Mrs. Jenkins already offended pretty easily.
Oh, right. I get real offended, really. Not hardly.
But I like, you know. But Dodge City used to be full of dance halls. Even when Mary Lee, and one time we went dancing 13 nights in a row. We'd stay out almost all night. And she'd go to work. Of course, we were a lot younger than we. But see, myself and Mary Lee have never built a fence around each other. All I can do is a damn please. Anything I want to do. Except mess around with another woman, that she ain't gonna put up with that shit. Now, she's never said I couldn't. Except, you know, a couple of times I've kind of gone over the line. But she's a good woman, you know. I think every relationship should be like, you know, we have no problems at all because we don't demand anything of each other. We share each other. It's like my art down there. That is sharing my thoughts. How in the hell else can I express a thought except through art? Tell me. You want to write a book? There's books all over this joint. But if you see, we can't sit down side by side and read that book. I can put a piece of artwork up there and get the same message across 1,000 people, see it the same once if they want to. And I like my art, I really do. I love it. And it's getting better. And it's just exciting today, more exciting than it was. One thinks, oh, well, now's this damn heart. That's, you know. But you don't worry about this heart. I really don't worry about this heart. I don't worry about dying. You know, if all you're going to do is sit around and worry about dying, you ain't got a damn thing to worry about. You don't have nothing because it's, you know, it's just when. Now, I've been told that this pacemaker's going to, you know, the only thing keep me alive is this pacemaker. I know that. But you don't think I'm going to sit around and worry about this somebody's quitting. That'd be totally idiotic. The first thing you know, I'd be a babbling, masochistic idiot.
Jane, do you have more specific things you need to get to?
I don't think so. I think we've covered, you know, the one thing we don't have on tape, you've talked about it 2 or 3 times to me, is about the church. And when you went to Europe and you saw these churches that were covered with gold, and the minister, the priest up there, and they say they're just for humility. And that is not on, you've said that a couple times, but you have not said it, as far as I know, on tape.
Let me show you how phony it is. This, you know, I'm not against the Catholics. It so happened to be that, you know, this is the ones. But Michelangelo's Pietà, stand before it. Go to Florence and stand before Michelangelo's David, which the Catholic Church owns. Or kiss the Pope's ring, which is more money than you will ever have. And I went to this church in Southern Europe. We won't go into this part. But the ceiling, vaulted ceilings. I looked up there, French walnut and Baroque crystal all over. And then here come this guy, the first guy down there, I don't know what he was carrying. Candles. Then the next guy carrying the Bible. Then the next guy was, here come this guy in the three-cornered hat. And he's carrying, you know, the crucifix with two transepts on it, you know, cross pieces. That meant he's bigger than a priest. And so he gets up there, and you know, and people think I'm ridiculing him. I'm not ridiculing these people. But he stands up there and he eats crackers and washes these gold and silver pots and pans with gold and jewel encrusted with stuff like encrusted. And I'm watching this. Then after he finishes all this stuff, then he gets up in this pulpit, this gold leaf, and I didn't know for sure what the hell he's talking about, but then this son of a bitch talks about humility and poverty. God almighty! When Michelangelo's David, I know that I could sell it to Bill Gates for $3 billion, which would buy every grain of corn ever that was been grown in Illinois last year. If these people are sincere about this humility and poverty, Michelangelo's David is only a piece of marble. And the Pietà. I mean, if they're truly sincere in this stuff, they wouldn't have all this wealth of treasures. They'd get rid of it and give it to the people. And you know, Jesus Christ never even got to speak, he never did speak in the shed. Anything as good as the shed. He never did own nothing. And now we got all these cathedrals and all that stuff. There's something wrong. I know, or I feel, that there is some kind of an being out there. I don't know what it is. One damn thing for sure, I'm never going to find out. But if I want some kind of a religious movement or a revelation, or I want to meditate, I go out here in this pasture and I say, I don't know what's the sun color. That's good enough. Or sit on the seashore and watch. Or used to do like I did, I'd stand on the bow of the ship and watch the porpoises and the flying fish and all that stuff. You know, that's my church. I don't need anybody to interpret any books for me. I don't need that. You see, as long as the church only had, they were the only ones that could interpret the Bible. They had the people just like that. And do I think that Karl Marx was right when he said that the religious was the opiate of the masses? He could be right. And you know it. See, as long as I've got that over you, I've got you. If I keep telling you, by God, if you don't do as I say, you're going to burn in the lake of fire, what a crock of shit. You know, we all know about Prometheus and Persephone. I mean, and the Queen of Hades, Hecate and all this stuff. I mean, you know, if you want to really see something on this religious, I'm not anti-Christian. I say, leave me alone in your Christian beliefs. But read about Asclepius. and look at the parallel or make a juxtaposition between Christians and Asclepius. And there's a hell of a parallel. If you read it. Now I say when I talk about Asclepius to these people around here, they go, "Ooh, in the hell was Asclepius?" Then the first argument they always give you, you don't have faith. That's not true. In my artwork down here, I've got all these gods up there, Perseus, Proteus, and these guys buy those damn pages as fast as I can make them. I've had Asclepius, I've had Proteus, and Perseus, and my God, just countless, and as fast as I make them, some guy comes along and takes them. But I'm going to start adding to it. I've got some left, you know, that, and I'm going to keep Nereus, some of those.
I've noticed you have a number of places you have crosses with INRI on them.
Christ King of the Jews. Well, that was the first cross.
Right.
When that guy went out someplace and he got this piece of wood, I used to know Christ's last words. I can't remember. But it's not what they said in the robe, the movie. You see, I put that sign up there, I-N-O.
Hold a shot.
Remember yesterday you said something about, you told me how you lost your faith in organized religion. And I just would like for you to tell me that story.
I was going to school over here in the northwest corner at a school in the northwest corner of Mullenville, Kansas. And they'd march us down to the old United Brethren Church. And they was having a revival down there. And that they had a woman preacher. And she would stand up there, she and her husband, they'd get to going on this religion. And they'd have us kneel down, and they had us convinced that we were seeing something, you know. Oh, what we're supposed to see. I thought it was different because I never did see anything. I don't know what the hell I was, or hear something. Anyway, one of the things to get us to go to church, or to this revival meeting, can you imagine what would happen now if they forced a kid to go to a church from school? Whew. Supreme Court will be here tomorrow. But anyway, this woman said if we will come every day for 5 days to the church, about an hour, I don't know, it's been 50, 60 years. And she said, if you will come every day, then at the end of the last day, we will show you something that's never been seen before and will never be seen again. Hot almighty, here's a kid, you know what the hell to think. We're imagining this is under that or this is under that, we don't know. And so anyway, we went through the ritual for 5 days. And so on the last day, after everybody had been saved and, went through all this rigmarole, she stood up there and opened up a peanut and ate it. I said, this is a bunch of bullshit. And it was. I will never forget that. I can still see it in my mind. Someday I will make an art piece of that. That woman that tricked me. You don't lie to a kid. You can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to a kid. And they did. That was a damn lie.
I'm thinking, let me see if I, One of the things that you talked about yesterday, was about man's inhumanity to man. And you've also talked at a number of points about women and how women are treated. And we want more facts, but I'm wondering if you could tell us, just expand on what made you so passionate about the way of what you see as justice or injustice in the way people are treated.
Man's humanity to man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a fox, you're a chicken. Now, if I eat you, that don't mean that I've got anything against you. I'm doing it to survive. I mean, the fox. Let's get into, because I got nothing personal against you. Let's get into the human element of this thing. Look at the cruelty we do to each other. Kill kids, beat them to death, burn people, burned at the stake. Look how they treated the people, most back in, get back to Catholic Church, Pope Nicholas. Look what he did to people. I think it was Pope Nicholas. Burnt thousands of women, burned them at the stake. Ann Hutchins, in the Salem witch trial, same damn difference. Take them out and they's going to burn them at the stake. Hang them. This is man's, and look what we do to each other. There's nothing. They actually enjoy hurting people. I don't hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. But people get some kind of a kinky twinge out of this thing. Mental orgasm, I don't know. But look what we do to each other. And anything. I mean, there's nothing that the humans won't do to each other. Nothing. It's honest my belief that the cruelest thing that ever come on this earth, probably the white man. Okay? That's what I believe. Now, you can believe how you want to. That's what I believe. I mean, hell, look at his record. Then on women. My God. Look what we did all that thing.
What's happening?
Battery.